poem, that is The Tale of Custard the Dragon, which is written by Ogden Nash. Now, if we see, Ogden was an American poet who was famous for his light verse. Light verse is very similar poetry, which is having a lot of rhyming words and which does not have a great message or any metaphor or any hidden message in it. Whatever it is written is exactly like that, and it is in the form of a rhyme, okay, like which is basically for kids. So, Ogden was also known as the producer of humorous poetry. So, he used to write poetry which depicted a lot of humor, a lot of funny things. You will also be seeing it in this poem as well, that there are a lot of humorous elements which are present in his poem. Now, this poem is a ballad. So, ballad is basically a rhyming poem which is also like a song, we can say, which is actually a song, and people, they also act upon it. It could also be used as a method of an acting, because this poem will also show a story. So, ballet is something which is a rhyming story which is depicted in front of the audience. So, it can also be like a play, we can say. Play, which is a poem which is also in a rhyming, like a song. Now, if we see, this poem is a humor. The Tale of Custard the Dragon is a humorous poem about a dragon who is a coward and whose name is Custard. So it's about a dragon who's very afraid of all the things and whose name is Custard. So that's why the poem name is Tale of Custard the Dragon. Let's quickly jump to the poem. Belinda lived in a little white house with a little black kitten and a little grey mouse, and a little yellow dog, a little red wagon, and a yellow trulio, and a little pet dragon. Now, if you see, first of all, see the rhyming scheme of it. House, mouse, wagon, dragon. So, what the poet is doing? Poet is creating a rhyming effect in order to attract students, in order to attract kids. As I told you before, that Ogden was actually a child's poet. He used to write poetry for children. So, that's why he gives such an effect to make the poetry very effective. Now, Belinda is actually a girl who lives there, who lives in a white house. So, this is again an imaginary poem where we will see that a lot of imaginary things is happening. So, Belinda, who lives in a white house, she lives in a little beautiful white house, and there are a lot of pets which she is having. And out of all those pets, in the first paragraph, in the second paragraph, poet is just telling you about all the pets which Belinda had. So, she lived in a white house with a little black kitten. So, the first pet was black kitten. The second was little grey mouse. So, there was a black kitten. There was a small little grey mouse and a little yellow dog. So, the dog was not actually yellow in color. You do not get dogs in yellow color, but basically the mustard color or the golden color of the dog is being referred as the yellow dog with the brown, very goldenish brown skin. And a little red wagon. So, and a Relio, Trulio, and a little pet dragon. So, she had small little pets also, and whose name was Relio, Trulio, and also she had a pet dragon. So, all these pets she was actually having. Now, the name of a little black kitten was Link. So, the little black kitten which she had, her name was Link, and the name of the grey mouse, she called her Blink. And the little yellow dog was sharp as mustard because her skin was little related to mustard. So that's why the name she has given is Mustard. But the dragon, who was very afraid and who was a coward, and she called him Custard. So the dragon, a huge dragon which she had, his name was Custard. So it's just the name which she has given. And now see, the names are also rhyming. Like ink, link, blink, custard, mustard. So what she is doing, again the poet is creating a rhyming effect in order to attract the readers. Moving on to the next paragraphs now. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth. Now what the poet is doing, poet is just trying to describe you how Custard looked like. So Custard had a huge, big sharp teeth. His teeth were very sharp. And there was spikes on the top of him as he was a dragon. Now you can imagine how a dragon looks like, especially someone who can take out fire from its mouth. So Custard was actually a huge, scary dragon if you see it. But seeing the physical features of the dragon and seeing the actual dragon was very afraid of all these things. and spikes on the top of him. So you can see that there were huge spikes which were going down his tail on the top. It started from his head towards the down, and scales underneath. Scales underneath means it's going down his body. Mouth like a fireplace. Why is mouth like a fireplace? Because he can take out fire from its mouth. As soon as the dragon will open his mouth will actually he can take out fire from it. And chimney for a nose. Why his nose is being compared as chimney? Because his nose also takes out some smoke. Because of the fire, his nose sniffs some smoke. And Relio Trulio, daggers on his toes. So Relio Trulio is actually small little dragons who always you can find it near his toes. So near the toes of this custard, you can find small dragons who are always wandering here and there, and that is near his toes, near his feet. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of beers. So if now the characteristics of Belinda is being talked about, in the first paragraph we read about custard, the physical features of custard. Now if you see Belinda is very brave girl, as a barrel full of beers. Like barrel is where beers are being kept, beers they live. So as barrel which is full of beers, so Belinda is equal to, she's as brave as lot of beers. And Ink and Blink chase lions down the stairs. Now when we see Ink and Blink, they are also very strong, they are also very brave, that they can even chase down lion from the stairs, that they can even throw out lion from their stairs. If a lion tries to come out into their castle, into their little white house, only Ink and Blink are good enough to shoo the lion off. Now we can see that these people are very brave. Okay, both Belinda, Ink and Blink, everyone is very brave over here, and they're so brave that they're talking about their bravery कि मैं इतना brave हूँ कि मैं तो lion को भी भगा दूँगा, and I'm so brave that I can shoo off a lion. So you can imagine how brave they were. Custard was as brave as a tiger in a rage. Coming to Custard, Custard was also very brave, as brave as a tiger who was in full of anger. So even Mustard, who was a dog, was so brave that if you see a tiger in a rage, if you see a tiger in anger, so in a very aggressive way, so Mustard was as brave as tiger. But coming to all of these descriptions, the poetess has shown that all these animals were very brave. Now coming to Custard, but Custard cried for a nice safe cage. Where all the animals were so brave, on the other hand, Custard was not at all brave. In fact, he always cried for a nice safe cage. See, he always kept on weeping that he wanted a nice safe cage, that he wanted himself to be in a cage, and cage should be nice and safe so that nobody could harm him. So we can clearly see that Custard was not at all brave. In fact, he was scared of all the things, even in the environment, that he wanted himself to be kept in a shell, और वो shell भी इतना safe होना चाहिए that nobody could actually come and harm him. So clearly we can say that Custard was very, very afraid of all the things around him. Now what Belinda tickled him? She tickled him unmercifully. Tickle means like she used to poke, gudi karna in a way we can say. So she used to poke him a lot, she used to tickle him a lot because she enjoyed doing it. Custard was very afraid of all the things, and Belinda enjoyed tickling him and enjoyed doing all these things with him. Ink, Blink and Mustard, they rudely called him Percival. So what everybody used to call him, that he's such a coward, that why he's afraid of all the things. All the little pets used to laugh at him, make fun of him, and used to call him Percival. Means we used to basically call him a coward, that ye to darpok hai, ye kuch nahi kar sakta, he cannot do a lot of things. They all sat laughing in a little red wagon at the Relio Trulio cowardly dragon. So what they used to do, they used to all sit together in a red wagon. Wagon is basically a trolley sort of structure, a trolley where you can sit and where all the pets were sitting, and Belinda used to take them for a walk or wherever. So all the pets used to sit in a red wagon. So and where all the pets were sitting over there, they all used to laugh at the coward dragon, that ye kitna itna huge hai, ye itna huge structure hai. Physically he is so built and so strongly built, and still he is such a coward. So people used to, all the pets and Belinda used to make fun of him. Glenda giggled till she shook the house. So she used to laugh so hardly. She laughed like a mad girl. She laughed a lot that she shook the house. So that the house even started shaking. And the Blink said weak, which is giggling for a mouse. So Blink, who was a little mouse, as he could not laugh, so he used to produce a voice called weak, which is actually a giggling sound, a laughing sound for a mouse. Ink and Mustard rudely asked his age. So Ink and Mustard would ask his age, that what is your age? Why you're so afraid of all the things around you? They would very rudely, very badly, they would ask about it. When Custard cried for a nice safe cage. So when Custard kept on crying that he needed a safe cage, so at that point, Ink and Mustard also very rudely, they asked कि तुम्हारी age क्या है? What is your age? Why you are still asking for a cage? So why you need a cage when you are actually in a very safe house? Now I hope you can see the rhyming effect again. House, mouse, age, cage. So this rhyming effect is AABB. Okay, house and mouse, age and cage. Moving on. Suddenly, they heard a nasty sound, and Mustard growled, and they all looked around. So while they were laughing and enjoying and teasing the huge dragon, I would say rather, Custard. So suddenly they heard a nasty sound. They heard something fishy sound from outside, and listening to the sound, the Mustard growled. So as the dogs are in a habit of barking, so similarly Mustard just barked, and they all looked around. So they all looked around, what is happening? Meouch, cried Ink, because Ink is a cat, and ouch, cried Blanda. So everybody is just making some sounds. They're showing their expression that what has happened, because there was a pirate climbing in the window. So window is basically, just to give a rhyming effect to Belinda, window actually means window. So what happened, as they were just laughing in very smoothly, they were just giggling and making fun of Custard. So suddenly they all heard a sound, and that was a very strange sound, because there was something who was climbing up the stairs, who was climbing up the window, and who was none other than a pirate. So everybody was shocked to see it, that how come there's a pirate in such like how they have suddenly came across a pirate. Now the description of pirate is given. Pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right, and he held his teeth a cutlass bright. So his teeth were very shiny, very bright. They were shining very brightly with the cutlass. There was also cuts in his teeth, and he was having pistol in his both hands. So his both hands were covered with pistol, which is actually a danger sign for the people who were in that house. His beard was black, so he was having huge beard, who was completely black in color, and one leg was wood. So his one leg, which was artificial and was made up of wood, which is itself very scary. It was clear that the pirate meant no good. So seeing the pirate with pistols and a wooden leg and such structure, it was very clear that pirate has not come to do any good to these people. Pirate has no intention of doing any good, but he has come with some wrong motive over there. He has come with a false motive. Belinda paled and she cried, help, help. Now Belinda, her face completely turned yellow. Pale is to turn yellow. Now her face is turned yellow, and she started crying for help and help. She's asking people to help her out. She started screaming help and help. But Custard filled with a terrified yelp. Now at this time, Mustard is filled with a terrified yelp. Mustard, who was saying that I'm so brave earlier, that I am like a tiger in a rage, but here Mustard is filled with terrified. He's also terrified, and he also wanted some sort of help from someone else. Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household. Now Ink has moved and has quickly skimmed to the bottom of the household. At the bottom where nobody could see, Ink has hid himself over there. And little mouse Blink strategically mousehole. So, and the little mouse Blink, what he has done, he has gone into his mouse hole where nobody could find and nobody could harm him. He has gone over there. Now all these animals who initially were saying that we are so brave, now they are so terrified at the sight of pirate that they have hidden themselves. They have completely, they are hiding, because they too are afraid, but they are not showing it clearly. And now when they have come with such a situation where they are so where their help is needed, where their bravery is needed, at this point they are hiding, because they are very terrified and they are not what they used to say, not as brave as they used to depict themselves to be.